Nightshade has some frequently asked questions that she's already received that she wanted to go over. I'm going to bring her back up to do that.
Kind of like the back and forth thing. Kind of gives me a little bit of break. All right, so, you know, we have our few naysayers or people that have brought up questions and concerns to me. Communication is always good. If you have a problem with something, if you don't understand something, if you want to give us an opinion on something that we're doing or not doing, communication is the only way we can ever fix any of it. Don't be shy, step up to us, ask questions. If you're one of the shyer people that don't feel like you can confront us personally, talk to another member. A lot of these that I'm about ready to address have come through third channels, which is fine. Any step forward is a step forward. The first thing I'm going to address the first thing I'm going to address is there was concerns of the new system being a popularity contest. And to an extent, it is. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's a negative thing. If you're going to vote for someone, it's going to be someone who you know. It's going to be someone who you can trust to do the job that they are running for. You know, there's talk about, like, you know, the leadership loves like a suck up and all this other, you know, negative terms that people like to use. But like I said, we run on volunteerism. We run on getting things done, community and whatnot. So yes, it's very much harder for a member who sits in the background and doesn't do anything, which is not a problem. You are more than welcome to do so, but don't expect to be chosen to take any of these positions. Another part of these positions is these are not the titles, the attaboys of randomness that Shatterhays love to give out left and right. There is an actual job to each of these, and they need to be done. And if they're not being done, then we'll find someone that will do the job. And like I said, you know, the people that put themselves forward, who want to do the thing, who put the effort in learning the thing and doing the thing, are usually going to be the ones who get voted in for the positions. As my job as treasurer is a votable position. If you feel someone will do it better, or by the time I get, you know, a little burned out on it, or whatever may happen, it is Mirkwood as a whole who will be voting on treasurer. This is going to be the person who holds on to our money, so you need to be someone who is trustworthy, who is good at rallying support, who is good at doing fundraising, etc., etc. And, you know, Joe in the background, who, you know, is just, who isn't up there and active, is usually not going to be the person picked. It's not necessarily a bad thing, we're just trying to promote more activity.
There's a question on the chat.
Okay. What's up?
The question in the chat is from Argyle. I have had my men ask me about knighting. They have been told that they have to follow the knighthood rulings.
The Mirkwood rulings.
Or the Mirkwood rulings, yeah.
Do we have a general Knights outline? Wasn't that in the progress of being made? That's a good question, actually. That's a really good question. Yeah, I've had a couple people asking me about that too. If there was like mandatory requirements.
There are currently no mandatory requirements that I'm aware of. Hamish is in charge of that.
Talk to Hamish.
Talk to Hamish. Talk to, as I said, if you're interested in knighting or are a knight, talk to Hamish. And then we might have one by next year that is more streamlined thing, or they might keep more open so that the people who are knights are more deciding who gets, or more deciding to do it more personal ways. But that's going to be based on the Knights Council and then Hamish's decisions on those things. So it is really important. I want to make sure that we want to make all of the Seneschals, the Artisans, and the Knights bigger groups.
And Is there anything wrong with like going outside of Mirkwood to get your knighthood?
I have no problem with it. It's the only thing is if you go outside to get your knighthood through Mirkwood, you'll have to be vetted by the Knights Council before you can join. That might not. It would depend on their working relationship with the person that you get knighted by, and their feelings on the matter. That's the only thing I know about
I
that.
think that's Argyle again. Would I not be able to knight in my own house by my own rules?
Are you a knight?
I don't know.
If you are a knight, you're allowed to knight in your own house already, especially if you're on the Knights Council. If you're a knight already, if you already have your Mirkwood knighthood, then talk to Hamish, you're already on the Knights Council.
He says he has one.
We have one.
Like I said, if you have a knight, if as long as they're in Mirkwood, they're on they should be on the Knights Council. They should get a hold of Hamish so they can talk about knights things and do knights things together. And they're allowed to knight people within they're allowed to knight people.
If you're a knight of dagger, you can knight people. If you're not a knight of dagger, you can say you're a knight and people look at you funny. But
Well, I get for Mirkwood, it's all about vetting our knights. So like, if you've already been knighted within Mirkwood, then you should be free and clear about that. Just get a hold of Hamish. We want to get more of the knights talking to each other, the seneschals talking to each other, and the Artisans talking about each other, so they can maybe streamline the process a little bit and have ideas together about what should be going on.
Can you be part of more than one of the groups?
Yeah.
Like, can you be a seneschal and an artisan, or a seneschal and a knight?
As long as you've got,
As
remember,
long as you-
yeah, the big thing about becoming a seneschal, an artisan, or a knight is you have to go through a process. So as long as you've been vetted by those, and they say that you're one of us now, then you get to vote in all three of those elections. There's no problems with that. If you want to go through the whole gauntlet, that's more than fine. Are there any other questions? Before we go back to some of the frequently asked questions we had before?
I was thinking.
No, we're good.
The chat
Oh,
pretty
wait.
much concluded Hamish.
Well, yeah, as I was saying, like, Hamish is currently in charge of knighthood, of the knights for the thing. The Knights Council in general are going to decide amongst themselves what they want. And again, if any of the groups as a total don't like the person that currently they're in charge of them, then they can vote them out. I mean, it's as that. Everybody good?
Very excellent. All right, well, Damien's touched on this a little bit just now and a little bit previously, but just to tie it all together, another concern was that we may have been placing our personal friends on the council. That is not accurate. We placed people on council, and for wardens, we sent out a message and asked people, and can only go with people who respond. So once again, communication. If you want something, let us know. We put people in position that we know are active, that we know have experience, and that we know can and will get the job going as we are just starting this up. We need people that can help us define what the positions are, work out all the bugs before we can start voting people into the positions. As Damien just stated, if you are unhappy with who is running the Knights, if you're unhappy with me as treasurer, if you're unhappy with anyone that's in the position, let us know. We can work things out. We can, as I said, we got a voting system coming up. You know, we can get them out. These people are not in permanent positions. We can all, including myself, including Galadriel, including, Hamish, all of us can be bumped out. And it's not a problem. We need the people who are going to be active and who are going to be reliable and do the jobs. As I said before, these jobs, you actually got to do the thing. If they're not doing the thing, or you don't like how they're doing the thing, let us know. We will try to solve the thing. The last that I have for today is the word clicks is thrown around a lot. It has a lot of negative connotation, but a lot of us have our own personal group of friends, and there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, having the same 20 and 30 some people. With example, my family in general, the Wolfsbanes, are far and widespread. We usually only get to see each other during reg, so we do spend a good 50, 60 something % of our personal time with each other. Now the only time that this becomes a problem is when the groups segregate themselves, where they have no interest in communicating or being apart, or they become, for some reason, hostile or nasty to other groups. That is not okay. That has nothing to do with it being a group of friends or a clique. That is a mindset, and that is a mindset that we do not want in Mirkwood, to be aggressive or hostile towards other groups. Once again, if you don't like a person, don't talk to the person. Plain and simple. Yes?
There are like different houses in Mirkwood, right?
Yes.
There's half dozen of them, give or take.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with people saying, hey, let's do our house oriented thing. Let's go off and do a thing and come back. You're still part of Mirkwood.
Right.
It's just we want a thing for this particular section or faction, if you will.
Well, yeah, family groups, individual units are more than welcome to do their own things separate of the Mirkwood as a whole. You know, Mirkwood as a whole, even with the goodly number that we have now, say all of Mirkwood wants to go to the restaurant up the street.
I feel bad for the waiter.
Yeah, right. And in that case, you know, going in smaller groups of personalized friends is usually a better tactic when you're going to go mob, you know,
The Chinese
the
restaurant.
shops, the restaurants and whatnot, you know. We need to stop using these negative connotations towards each other. Like, if you have a problem with the whole Wolfsbane clan as a whole, that's fine. That's your own personal opinion. You're entitled to it. Don't talk to us, and we won't talk to you, or no, that goes into the whole anti-harassment. Don't be mean to each other. Don't be a douche to each other. Don't make each other's day unpleasant for any reason. This is the one vacation we have. As I stated before, we have hundreds of other people to talk to interact with. There is no reason for you to personally interact with something or someone you don't like. And if they will not leave you alone, then you let us know and we fix it.
And generally, lately, we haven't been having any real problems. I know this was a thing a few years ago.
No,
It's not really a thing anymore.
we're doing fantastic right now. All the individual groups have not complained about any other groups. I have not had a single person come up to me and complain about a whole other group of people. Go us, making progress. Every step forward is a step forward. That's all I've got for the frequently
Asked questions.
not necessarily questions, it's more of concerns that have been brought before me that I'd like to address to all of them. Here's Damien. You're almost up, ma'am.
Oh, God.
Are there any other Q&A questions before we move on to the next section, and then I gotta take over camera work for Berkeley?
Oh, fun. Nothing.
Anybody got anything left? Anybody here have anything? Any other questions or anything
I was
they want?
told to double make sure people get in touch with artists. In the last week, make sure people know artisan rep.
Yeah, exactly. That's that. Artisan Rep Swinkle. Galadriel's the center soul rep. Hamish is the Knights rep. Get in touch with us. Get in touch with us.
Volunteer for troll.
Can we get said reps to post on Facebook so we know who they are?
I do believe they did.
Well, because
not everybody
not
knows
everyone
those
was
names.
there, because the Facebook names are not our DAG names anymore on most of the people.
Yes.
So it is messing with
I'm
some
going. What I
people.
think is going to be a thing is I'm going to list a chart on a file on the new program that has everybody's contact information, which is the big thing I'm probably going to do either tonight or right after Conclave when I get home.
Sorry, I'm just.
I want to make it as easy for people to get a hold of people as possible. And I know we're real spread out. Again, any complaints or anything, or you need to know something, get a hold of one of us so we can almost instantly get you back information.
I'm going to ask.
Yeah, we have a question on here. Will Conclave be back in Akron next year, or will we be traveling to a new place or stay the same?
Conclave every year from now on is going to be depending on what the best offer we get. So the council will decide where conclave is going to be based on the locations we have available. Maya made an offer of her place and a place that was the most advantageous to us. She had enough space to house everybody, and the spot for the meeting had Wi-Fi, which is very important to us, so that we could talk to all of you nice people on the internet. So that's the big thing. If you want to host conclave in your area, you need to have enough place. You have to have a place to have the after party that is big enough to hold a bunch of people, and enough places to house people in the immediate area. If you have a yard with a big area that we could, or lots of crash space in your house, that's good too. If you live by a bunch of people that can house a bunch of ninjas, that's good too.
Also think noise level of our parties, so don't.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If your neighbors are really, really close to you and don't like you having parties, then you probably don't want to have a giant party there. If you have a cabin back in the woods, if you have a cabin back in the woods that can hold 900 people, obviously that's a better spot. For the meetings, we need to have a location that has Wi-Fi. Now, as long as you're willing to help me shop for a place that's nearby where you're at, we're willing to spend Mirkwood funds to rent out a meeting site. Maya was able to get us a cheap alternative because a free alternative in this case that had Wi-Fi, which is why we went with that. Our other option was Cancer. He was kind of our last ditch option, but he at least had a spot we could have for a party, but it wasn't as ideal as her place. So if people want to have it in Akron, my Akron people will say where we want to have it and what's the best option for that, and then they'll put that to the council and we'll vote on it. Anybody else who wants to have it in their spot, tell us the good reason we should have it at your place, and then we'll vote on it. Is there any other questions?
I've got kind of a statement. Over the past year, I've seen a lot of negativity in the group, a lot of negativity for negativity's sake. That doesn't really change things for the better.
No, I feel that's been getting better instead of worse.
It has.
Within the last, for sure, at least 6 months.
It'd be great to get into the attitude of not just throwing the problem out there over and over again, but proposing a solution instead.
That's a big thing. We want to be solutions based.
Right.
I want to have jocularity, fun, pageantry. Those are the things I love about Mirkwood. And I never fell into the clique aspect. Like everybody loves me, so it's because I'm so modest.
That Damien guy's a douche.
So I never really saw a problem with it. But it's all about, someone said in the chat, it's all about people being mean-spirited. And that's the big thing. Like, don't. Like, be nice to people. Be as nice to people as you want them to be to you. Volunteer for things. Help out. I have a volunteering problem, but, you know, just help out a little bit. I don't expect people to volunteer as much as I do. What's that?
It was just, if everyone can take a shift, people won't have to end up taking 35 hours of shifts at RAD.
That's the big thing why we plug volunteerism so much. We don't want Gladrill to run all the troll shifts. We don't want Rain to run all the medic shifts. Yeah, we didn't want Grom to have to do every security shift. Like, and these people who run these things have to. They don't really have to. They volunteer to. So they're taking time out of their vacation to make sure that all of these people don't kill themselves.
Well, there's a very small list of Mirkwoodians that if a shift is not covered, they will bend over backwards to make sure that they can do it. And then that ruins their vacation.
Yeah, that is the thing too, is that. But we have had in years past where we've been the most volunteer-based group. And that makes me proud every year that I hear about that, about how many people step up.
There is another one that a lot of people don't know about volunteering, and that's the setting up the battles in the morning.
Oh yeah, the battles. They do help with battles and stuff like that. If that's your thing, if you like the Herald, go volunteer for that. They look to it. And we didn't talk about it, but weapons check. Weapons check is brutal. And if you do weapons check all week, you get beat the fuck up. And those people need breaks. They need bags. They need bags every day.
The one other part is, yes, there's heralds, but we have to move all of those battles ahead.